Well, hello, hello. It's Joanna Clark with Blissful Baby Sleep Coaching, and I am here for another session of Get Your Life Back. It starts with sleep. And I want to just talk today a little bit about why sleep matters. Because unfortunately, in our society, it just seems that sleep is something we're willing to compromise on, and we run ourselves ragged, and then we get really depleted. And we always have this perception that it's something we can catch up on later. And I see this every day with the parents that I work with. So many families are coming to me literally on fumes. They're working full time, they're raising one or two or three or more children. The COVID pandemic has just compounded everything in their life to be more demanding in every way. And the thing that gets compromised in all of that is sleep. And of course, when day after day, month after month, sleep becomes compromised, at a certain point, we hit some breaking points. So I want to talk about that today. I know it's a really obvious topic, and I also know it's a really uncomfortable topic, but I want to share with you some statistics to just consider and really get an honest look at your own sleep life, and especially get really honest about the sleep life of your children, because what we do as parents, we model, right? And so if we're not modeling correctly and making sleep a priority in our house for our children, why would we ever think that they will then make it a priority later as they get older? So with that being said, again, I thank you for being here live with me today. I'm Joanna with Blissful Baby Sleep Coaching. And and if anyone is here and you want to say hello and tell me where you're from, that would be fantastic. As I move through my topic today, if you have anything you would like to share or questions that you would like to ask, about your personal sleep as an adult or your child's sleep, absolutely. This is why I'm here. I'm here to kind of open up this dialogue and be a place for safe conversation and be a place for reliable and accurate information. And I think Anastasia's here, my trusty virtual assistant, but I haven't heard from her yet, so I don't know. I will probably end up at the end posting some links in here of resources that you can go back to and refer. And also, those of you that are watching this on the replay, if you have any questions after you watch it and you want me to answer them specifically for you, please do hashtag replay, and then I'll know to kind of scroll through the comments to look for the replay questions, and I'll make sure that I get back to you in some capacity, either through the thread or through a personal message. So here's the thing. Let me give you guys some facts. I know when I stumbled upon them, I was even shocked, and I'm constantly reading books on sleep. In fact, it's like my entire bookshelf and at my bedside table, because I'm just obsessed with this topic. Everything from children's sleep to adult sleep to dreams to health related to sleep, etc. So here's some really good facts. So you ready for this one? This one blew my mind. Parents lose an estimated 44 days of sleep in their child's first year of life. That totals 1,055 hours of lost sleep. Okay, I want to say that again. In your child's first year of life, it is estimated parents will lose 44 full days of sleep, which totals 1,055 hours of lost sleep. Okay, so if you're a parent of a single child and you've made it through the first year, depending on how your child's sleep cycles have been and whether or not your child is inherently a good sleeper or a bad sleeper, at a minimum, you will probably have lost 44 days of sleep. If you are a parent of 2 children or 3 children or 4 children, and there's been compounded sleep struggles in your household over the course of your the first 5 years of your child's life, each child a year, I mean, do the math on that. That's astounding, right? If you're a mom of 3 children and you add up 44 days times 3, that in 3 years, that's how much sleep you've lost. So these are really serious statistics. Now, here's the next one I want you to consider and ponder. 21% of children that have sleep issues in infancy continue to have sleep issues until their 3rd birthday and often beyond. Okay. 21% of children that are having issues in that first year of life will continue to have sleep issues until their 3rd birthday. Okay, so that's a really important statistic because this is what I hear every single day in some capacity, whether it's in some of the social media groups I'm in with where I support mothers and parents and children. It's when I talk to prospective clients or even personal clients that always have this perception, oh, he'll grow out of it. My child will grow out of it. Or I just keep hoping my child will grow out of it. In fact, today I actually had a physical. Every year around my birthday, I go get, my full workup, get my blood work done. And I was speaking with my internal medicine doctor who just had a baby. The baby's now 1 year old. And I said, how's the sleep going? She's like, well, we went through a really, 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 really bad patch. I'm like, okay, how many months did that last? She's like, well, I just kept thinking that it would get better. I just kept thinking he would figure it out. Now that was my own personal doctor. And then I also just finished with a client recently, and she just, I'm going to be posting her testimonial. She wrote a beautiful or she gave me a beautiful video testimonial because she's an internist as well. And she had the same thing. She literally thought, I'm an internist. I work with the pediatric population all the time. I know babies, I know humans, I know sleep. Surely I'll be able to figure this out, or surely my child will grow out of it and it will all work itself out. And then finally she realized, like, this is not working out. Like this, we continue to have sleep struggles despite our best efforts. So I just want you to understand that 21% of children in that first year of life will continue to have sleep issues all the way to the 3rd birthday. So if you are a parent of a child in their first year of life, and you have found that sleep continues to be a problem, that your child is waking multiple times a night and needs a lot of support to go back to sleep, that bedtime is taking longer and longer and getting more complex with the requirements in order to have the bedtime go smoothly, or if you're getting, where it's getting difficult, it used to be the dad could put the baby down or you could put the baby down, and now all of a sudden the child only wants the mom to put the baby to bed. Like if you're noticing that there's this mounting complexity to bedtime, or that the number of arousals are increasing, or that the arousals that are happening are now taking longer and longer to go back to sleep and requiring more and more support and assistance, then you're falling into this 21% zone, where if you have this perception that the child will just grow out of it, 21% of them do not grow out of it. And this will continue on well past their 3rd birthday. And I don't want that for anybody. I don't want that for any parent walking on this planet. Sleep is just too important for our health and our well-being. And with us being in the middle of a pandemic, where staying safe and healthy is literally the most important thing we can be doing for ourselves and for the rest of our family members and our extended family and friends, then sleep is the number one way that we can help ourselves. And if your baby's not sleeping, neither are you. And I don't want anybody that's listening to this live to become part of these statistics. So here's the next sleep science fact that I want you to know. This one's a killer. Brain research has found that sleep deprivation can cause a person to be less empathetic. Okay, I'm going to say it again. Sorry. Brain's research has found that sleep deprivation can cause a person to become less empathetic. Now, I want you to think about that. If you are a parent that's sleep deprived, inevitably it's going to compromise your ability to show empathy and compassion for yourself, for your child, for your spouse. And then again, everything is a filter effect. So if you're an employee or a manager, you're going to have less empathy for your colleagues. You're going to have less empathy for your community. You're going to have less empathy for your social engagement or your engagement in your spiritual life, like your church life or your political life. I have another client that I just finished working with, and I'm also going to be posting their video testimonial. The mom said literally she's typically a very social person, enjoys her family, enjoys her friends, that she was so sleep deprived that she had absolutely no interest in seeing or talking to anybody, that she was just so terribly depleted that something that normally would bring her great joy, which was seeing her girlfriends or chatting on the phone or maybe having someone over for a barbecue or meeting a friend for dinner, there just was nothing left in her tank, and that no longer brought her joy. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Brain's research has found that sleep deprivation can cause a person to be less empathetic. Now, as a parent, I think that one of the most important character traits that we can work on and develop and nurture is empathy. You know, to be a parent, to be a really good parent, or to feel like you're a really good parent, you know, because we're always doubting ourselves whether or not we're like good enough. But anyway, you know what I mean? Empathy is critical. It is Brene Brown, who is like my favorite author. She also has a new podcast. If any of you guys have not listened to her new podcast, it's phenomenal. She made empathy a word that all households are talking about, which is, what does it mean to be empathetic, and what does it look like? What does it feel like? How are your relationships improved because you can approach a person, a situation with empathy and compassion? How different outcomes are because you've approached the situation or the person with appropriate empathy. Life is really different when you are able to nurture that quality in yourself. Now, if you are a sleep deprived parent because your child's not sleeping, you are already compromising your ability to nurture and use that empathetic skill set. And, you know, we as parents try to be so loving to our children, so emotionally available, so fun. We want to be fun parents and engaged parents and interactive parents. And we want to enjoy our child's childhood, right? We want to like feel like we're really enjoying the parenting journey. Well, when we're sleep deprived, that ability to enjoy just diminishes greatly. And that's not why we had children. We didn't have children to slug through and be in survival mode. We became parents because we wanted to enjoy the parenthood journey and everything that we learn about ourselves in that journey, and everything that we can impart and teach our children and share with them, which is so beautiful and wonderful. So, you know, sleep matters. Sleep matters to everybody, because when we have lack of sleep, it affects our overall health, it affects our energy, affects our job performance, definitely affects our personal and intimate relationships, and it affects our overall satisfaction with life and sense of well-being. And ultimately, what I see in my practice when families come to me and they're already on fumes and they've been on fumes for sometimes months and months on end, sometimes even years, their whole family system is compromised by lack of sleep. These exhausted families are literally operating in survival mode, and their emotional connection is really thin, and their own personal self-care is barely anything. In fact, most moms will say to me when they talk to me, they say, I used to be a sports enthusiast, or I used to have a great workout routine, or I used to, prepare homemade meals and feel really good about my eating. And now I'm addicted to carbs and sugar and caffeine. Or I've just given up working out. I'm lucky if I get to go walk the dog. And then, of course, with that compromise where we're giving up, our workouts, or we're giving up our, eating like we know makes us feel better. What comes with that and what comes behind it is guilt, shame, dread, self-criticism, and that horrible loop that goes on in every woman's mind. I'll do better tomorrow. And then when we can't do better tomorrow because we're too tired, then we guilt and we shame and we spiral. And again, Brene Brown, right? She talks about this. She talks about the guilt and shame and the negative self-talk and the criticism that we do. Now, we do it as parents and we do it as women all the time. Okay. It's just part of us being human. However, when we're sleep deprived and we're overwhelmed, the voices get louder and louder, and we're constantly compromising more of our self-care, and we're constantly compromising more of our sleep, and we're constantly compromising more of our emotional connection and more of our ability to be empathetic to ourselves and empathetic to those that we love around us and to our community at large about what we care about, what we have the energy to care about, right? And the world is complex right now. There's a lot to care about right now. So I know I've kind of been a little bit on a soapbox, you guys. I don't like to be on a soapbox, but I feel I have been talking to so many exhausted parents. Oh my gosh. This COVID has just brought to the surface the bad sleep behaviors that were there that could just be kind of ignored, have all just bubbled up to the surface. And I'm talking to sleep deprived and overwhelmed and frazzled parents. I mean, I talk to them every day, but now I'm like, literally my calendar is booked with these phone calls of families just utterly on fumes. And so I felt, obviously I have great empathy because I don't want anyone living that life. And I also don't want anyone living the life of these statistics that I showed up with. First year of life, losing 1,055 hours of sleep. That's terrifying. And so then 21% of those children that have sleep problems in their first year, it will continue to the third year of their birthday unless you do something about it. Oh my gosh, 3 years of more lost sleep. What does that accumulate to? What does that ultimately do to your health and well-being and mental well-being? And then lastly, all this sleep deprivation is being proven, not just assumed, not just noticed, proven to cause a person to be less empathetic. And here we are becoming parents because we want to be this loving, interesting, heroic, fun, engaged parent. And our sleep deprivation, because our child is not sleeping, completely wipes all that out. So those of you that are still struggling with sleep, please know there is help and hope available. Always. That's the best part. The good news about all of this, there is always hope and there is always help available. Now, as you guys know, I'm a gentle sleep coach, so I do not believe in cry it out. Everything I do is based on sleep science and behavioral science and attachment theory. And, I have seen the worst sleep problems and we've been able to solve Everyone's been able to solve. So there's typically not a case that I can't solve. Now, I'm not trying to be a hero, but what I'm saying is I'm extremely committed to my families, and I will stick with them until we get to the point where they feel comfortable and confident with their child sleeping the way they want their child to sleep. And there is always a path because we have sleep science, behavioral science, and attachment theory as our backbone of everything that we do, or everything I do in helping my families. And they know that they have the backbone of those sciences behind them. And they also know they have a great coach and an accountability partner as they move through sometimes this complex journey of sleep coaching. But, so I guess my ultimate message is that anyone that's still in this first year of life and still struggling, please reach out for help. Whether you reach out to a coach, which I always recommend. I'm a big proponent of coaches. I learned a long time ago that me doing it alone means that I don't have good self accountability. If I have a coach, whether it be a nutrition coach, a workout coach, a life coach, a business coach, like whatever, that I get into action, I get results, I move forward, and I don't get stuck in the spiral of not following through with my person, the commitments that I made to myself. And there's lots of avenues to get help. You can hire a coach individually. You can do digital programs. You can do workshops. You can participate in live Zoom sessions and ask questions and get feedback. The key thing is start talking to experts that can help you and give you the perspective on your unique situation. Sometimes you have to move beyond just reading things and dabbling with things. Sleep coaching often is not effective when you're dabbling. Unfortunately, it's kind of like being on a diet. Like you're either on a diet or you're not. You're either sleep coaching or you're not, in order to get the results. So anyways, I just want to leave everybody with a ray of hope that no sleep struggle is too complex for a really good coach. I am always here to talk to families. I do 45-minute sleep strategy sessions so that you get to talk to me live about your unique situation. And we do that by Zoom video, which is amazing. So we can really connect. You typically will fill out a form in advance. So I have a lot of the backstory of what's happening. So I'm able to come to that conversation prepared to really laser focus on you and your child and your family and how, and really get to the bottom of why is your child not sleeping? Because until we get to the why, we're just kind of throwing darts at a moving dartboard. We have to get to the why in order to know what is the best path to solve the sleep struggles. So thank you so much for tuning in today. And I encourage all of you not to join these statistics. I want all families to enjoy blissful sleep and stay safe and stay well. Thank you.